Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we think is likely to happen next. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check it out. Let's make a start with this one though. XRP paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. Now we can obviously reflect on the recent move to the downside. Let's go ahead and actually just get rid of some of these white lines to start with, and what we'll do is we'll repurpose a few of these and redraw them as we kind of go. Let me get rid of this red one down here as well. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we can see that we had this move to the downside. We kind of found ourselves with a level of kind of a support and a bounce from 37.27, 37.26 just down here. We are finding ourselves in an interesting triangle wedge right in here. Draw this in. You can kind of see that's coiling up quite nicely. So a break up is probably where this is going. And the reason I say that is we kind of have an A wave coming up, a B wave coming down, and a C wave looking to kind of move a little bit up here. Now, when we take that into consideration, if we reflect on the moves up here, we can see that we have, oh, let me grab hold of the actual tool. There we go. This one just like this, right? So we can kind of see an ABC structure taking us down towards that 37.27. We'll use the fibs to kind of ascertain whether or not this is actually in line with our expectations. Which if we move over to this bounce, we can see we've come down right here, which looks like a pretty good solid move right on. Yeah, pretty much if I actually just make sure I adjust this just a fraction, get it right on the actual nose there. Just on the little bit short, a little bit longer, just a fraction longer, in fact, than the 1.236. So right in line with our expectations of where we would expect a bounce to occur. So we can see here that we then complete this structured move to the downside, and it looks like we're reversing upwards, at least on the smaller time frame. Here we can also reflect as a giant A, B, and C, and again we'll just do some sense checks to make sure that all of that is in line with expectations. If I move this over to here, you can see again we come down just past that 1-to-1 ratio, but not quite as deep as the 1.236, so falls perfectly in line. This basically means that XRP now has the potential of a corrective move upwards, and from here we can kind of see, you know, we've done all that. Possibly a bigger move upwards. I just don't think that's really probable. We'll see how it kind of goes. So everything quite nicely here moved up. Now, I reckon over the weekend, we have a move upwards towards, let me grab hold of those fibs and onto the lows, 39.25 and upwards potentially to 39.83. We'll just draw this little yellow box area just in here. This is an area that we're probably going to react to, an area that will probably get rejected from temporarily. You can also see this as an area of previous support. So we could be testing this area to turn it into an area of resistance. Okay, now this would be potentially short term because I still think we have momentum to move up. So we probably come down and then move up. And then essentially we end up with this kind of, again, larger structure like so. Probably tapping back up into this area of demand, area of supply just up here where we've been heavily kind of finding resistance up in the supply zone. And so we'll probably be revisiting that area over the weekend at some point, but do expect some volatility. Nothing moves in straight lines and all that kind of usual stuff. Now the daily chart is oversold, the 8 hours oversold, the 4 hours oversold on the stochastic RSIs, but we do have to have this correction here on our hourly chart, but we could actually rally up a bit and see how that kind of goes. Like I said, our wave counts are looking upwards here rather than downwards. Now, essentially this move up that I've just drawn up, the big ABC and then the micro ABC structures, they would have to be reconsidered if the price were to go down lower than 37.26. That essentially would be our invalidation and all that kind of stuff. Now, as we kind of come up into our daily chart here, we can, of course, acknowledge that there was a golden cross up here on the 20th of January with the 50 SMA crossing above the 200 SMA. But again, we've kind of, only shows you what's already happened. We've seen this time and time again. But again, we consign ourselves on the trend line getting rejected here. We're kind of really fighting it, coming back down, currently finding support on the 200 SMA. But if I take that off and throw on the this one, which is a 200 EMA, we can see that the 200 EMA on our daily chart here is the resistance at the moment. We can kind of see that right in there. If I throw on the 50 EMA, you can see that this was support. We've just lost it as support. So yeah, we want to be a little bit cautious here on the daily chart. Still think we can move up, but you know, we do have some resistances to kind of be battling with. On the weekly chart, it is bearish. We can see that we're overbought on our weekly chart. Again, we can see that right up here. There's no divergences that I can see on this weekly. Let's just bring this up. Yeah, nothing at the moment. We could see that there was bullish divergence in here, but we haven't got any kind of bearish divergences to concern ourselves with. But we do have an overbought stochastic RSI. Price action has been quite lackluster as well, so just be a little bit cautious with that. Still can push up a tad more though. I'm not too concerned. Volume, of course, is dropping down. So as we can kind of see here, volume is decreasing and we're failing to hit a higher high. So it shows us that we're losing strength to the upside. Now, if we just take a look at this pump to the upside here, we do have divergence in the way that we are going up higher in pricing, but lower in volume, basically telling us that there's no real drive behind the price action for XRP on this weekly chart. The RSI is okay. I'm not too concerned with that. If we jump back down into our daily, just zoom out just a fraction here, and bring in our divergences, we can see that there's a hidden bullish one just here. So a break to the upside, as I was saying, is highly likely, but we've got to kind of bear in mind that we probably need to just make sure we're ready lined up for it and we're good to go. No guarantees, of course, but we'll keep an eye on that. The RSI is reasonable, not too concerned. Volume, of course, just like the weekly, is decreasing. So I'm not optimistic long term. And of course, we're oversold on the stochastic. So everything for XRP on the smaller timeframes look okay. Large timeframes, I'm a little bit more concerned, thinking that essentially price action is not in the strongest position. Now, there's lots of talk about settlement with the Ripple and SEC lawsuit. This happens all the time. Dates get thrown around. No one really truly knows. I mean, you risk so much in even communicating dates if you were actually in the know, because insider trading is a big deal, and I just don't think people who are in the know are going to risk their careers and kind of spill the beans on when that stuff actually happens. That being said, we should kind of bear in mind that it's been ongoing since 2020. Since the lawsuit was actually kind of brought to Ripple, good old Jay Clayton. But essentially, I still think there's a bit more time here before that settles. On settlement or closure, win, lose, whatever it ends up being, I do think we're going to see significant price surge, but there's a huge attacks on crypto from the US anyway. So will the exchanges be freely listing XRP? There's a lot of concerns around that. Nonetheless, I still think XRP will surge. The question will be just how high it'll end up surging, and timing of such a case closing will be critical if we want to see significant growth when it comes to the price action of XRP. Do I think it's going to be much? No, but it's possible nonetheless. So we've seen it. People have been speculating on dates for a very long time. It's always next month. It's always just around the corner. It's always the 16th, 24th, or some other random date that's come up, and they come and they go, and then there's a reason for why it didn't happen, and there's another delay, and it's actually this date now, it's that date now, and so forth. Just kind of take it all with a pinch of salt. None of it is really truly accurate. It's just all for clicks and all that kind of attention. When it does happen, it will be fantastic, and you'll have very little notice, in my opinion, to kind of get in. But there'll be a significant ride as long as US exchanges are free to list XRP again and have clarity over what it is, which would be, in my opinion, one of the reasons for settlement and one of the clauses of it. That being said, though, when it comes to the price action of XRP, I'm still expecting some lower pricing. I'm not saying necessarily lower lows, but lower pricing on where we are right now. But it's going to take some time to kind of play out. If you found this video useful and informative, hit that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and you will not miss another video update. Until the next one, though, guys, have a fantastic day.